Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to another stream for Shapes 2 tutorial. The goal of this game, or the goal of the stream, is to go through this game as soon as possible with all kinds of tactics that I can use. And I think today we're going to do something slightly different. So before, I thought I could just kind of ram through this and deal with things as they go and enjoy the flow of the game. But meanwhile, I realize I am unfortunately slowing down in terms of delivery, in terms of what kind of things I want to do. So this video, and we're gonna do roughly 45 minutes, and just to kind of think about what are some of the things we can do in order to be more efficient. Essentially doing some planning instead of going all the way for everything that we need. So let's get to it. Let's do a quick recap on some of the things that kind of annoys us in this entire building process, right? And how we can make them more efficient. One thing that I noticed is that I have been keeping this particular note as I move forward. We have some of these blueprints that I want to build that will help make my life slightly easier. And they have been working pretty well. I have revolutionized or evolved some of the old blueprints to accommodate more complex functions, such as having them upgraded from one floor to multiple floors. And once I unlock the third floor, that kind of is a game changer where I have to think about, okay, how do we want to feed our system, right? So for example, we used to have a bunch of things. We used to have a color blueprint where you take in one item from the bottom, and you take in one fluid from the right, and you grab and you get the output on the top. And this is a blueprint that I used to have. It works really well. It sustains one single lane and one single level, and it gets out to whatever you want. Oh, actually this is the wrong direction. And it supports feeding the color from both sides, so I don't have to fill it. That's like a minor adjustment of life, quality of life adjustment. But in general, this doesn't work as we scale out, because we notice that the requirements for the shapes have increased. We used to need only probably 100 shapes or something, but now we need thousands of them, right? Or tens of thousands of them. Volume has increased, and some of the existing capacities that we have not change at all. For example, for the belts, I can't afford to go all the way to the 5th level yet, and you are having some, yeah, pretty much that's it. That was one of the restrictions that that I have struggled with. So one thing we can do for this, or one thing I have done, is to create a better coloring scheme, which is this guy, and it takes 2 inputs from this side and 2 inputs from that side, and also let me just move this out a little bit, and it chunks out these 2 on the other side, so it stacks the results and then output them out. So the way that this works is that it takes in essentially 2 floors of input for each lane, takes in 2 lanes, and then output them in that way. So this works really well, because now instead of building those convoluted pipes like these on the same level, we can kind of abstract these away into these neat little squares. We can just feed color from one side and material from the other side. And it supports multiple floors, so we can essentially do more things with less space and less clutter to manage, that is, per se. So I think one thing that I am realizing as I speak is that one thing that's really good, or one of the goals. So the question is, how can we enhance the, I guess, the speed of delivery, right? Speed of progression. So 1 is BPs are good. 2 is multiple, do more with less space and logistics. is good. Which means using multiple inputs, parallel inputs, and level are good. And I want to say levels will prioritize the parallel lanes. Levels and parallel inputs are good. So now it comes to the question, what kind of input to build, right after this. And another thing that I realized for this question per se, the observation just coming from the experience of playing the game, how we can enhance the speed of progression is that another thing is oftentimes it's more like observation, right? So observation. Often before, so usually it follows a pattern, a thinking pattern, when we design a new shape. So you have design, so you think about the route, sourcing, like distance to cover, or I guess transit, and delivery. Sorry, blueprints and delivery. So those are a full step of the design. And second part will be implementation. So yeah, implementation. When we attempt a new shape. Second step is implementation. And third step is just waiting, right? Sometimes waiting for delivery to complete. Or better yet, work on the other shape. Another shape. And the last step is to delete, I guess, logistics that are no longer needed. Occupying space. Occupying space. No longer needed. Occupying space. There. So that's the 4 stages of. It follows a, I guess not a pattern, but like a step, a strategy. Yeah, so that was the phase. Another observation that's kind of standalone is sometimes, or over 50% of the time, I have over-designed. Meaning the shape requirement, the delivery requirement was met before I churn out the full design. Ooh, there's a scaling as well. Inflation, we're doing the MVP, scaling. Out and up. So that makes it interesting. So this is a trade-off. Begs the question where the trade-off So yeah, these are the things that I think about which is like, do we want to do the perfect design or pursuing the MVP? And after that, we'll just leave it be and work on other things. So if I think about this, these are a lot of things we can think about, by the way. But let's start with this. So over 50% of the time I've over-designed. Maybe it's a good idea to just build the MVP and then move on to the next one, right? It could be that. But it does have a bit of a problem, like I said. Sometimes the requirement is large, and we would rather to have over-design than to have under-design, because resources are infinite. We don't have to think about resource expenditure. We usually just have to think about like putting everything on the line, right? As much as resource as we can extract, and then getting them out there. But meanwhile, like designing logistics does cost time, and if those cannot be like automated or like used in the blueprint, it is time wasted, because at the end of the day, we're gonna delete those and we're gonna do it all over again. Like for example, one thing that is time wasting is to build some of these train tracks, because again, these are not necessarily reusable. Some of these are, but ultimately they're not. And it costs time to configure, to think about like, oh, do I want to build this here or there, or do I want to even like remove them, right? So yeah, like it's kind of a weird trade-off. I think for the time being, it's probably a good idea to wing it, like to limit. So I guess the best solution here yeah. So basically, we don't try to elicit more shapes than we need. For example, if we need like this particular shape, right? And we realize that this is not enough to some degree. It's not sufficient to deliver the things that we want. It might be a good idea to just stick to this particular need. Limit it to that. Make it simple, so that the transport is a lot easier, and we don't have to solicit the same source from multiple places. Yeah, so that's the idea here. Providing that building these logistic networks are eventually thrown away, because we have more shapes than we can possibly build a logistic network for. So the best idea would just to be build this once, and then don't think too much about it. If it doesn't really have all the materials we need, we will try to eliminate those by just keeping it to the minimum. Like if we need one part from this and all the parts from here, then we just like reduce the production for this to a quarter and feed it here, so that no material is wasted. And it doesn't really matter. I just feed the things to the void, or whichever's faster, and then combine it here and then feed them directly to the source, and then we're good. We're golden. The trick is not to think too hard. I do wish that there is a shape searcher in this entire thing, but I think I've seen enough shapes to know what the usual patterns are. Unless we're talking about like something that's weirder, like more far out, where we have like purples and multiple colors in the same shape. So far I haven't seen anything like that. Like maybe, yeah, but eventually it might pop up. Or you have crystals. I don't know how crystals is gonna work, but maybe. Ooh, what is this? Is that white? Oh, this is so interesting. So gray, and there's a white. White needs to be painted too. Interesting. You learn something new every day. So yeah, that's that. Let's keep thinking about it. So we have a solution. So just try the one resource node and let it be. Don't complicate it. So another tip. Let's do some of the tips. Or let's see. Tips, suggestions, and tips. That'll be one of them. Right? Usual strategy is to handle like a scaling challenge and cost effectiveness of design and those scaling questions. Oops. Questions is to try to do just one resource. Don't complicate it. We're on the same thing. Yeah. All right. So let's go back. Faces when we attempt a new shape. We don't have to think too much about it. Let's do the other ones. So BPs are good. What are the BPs that are worth doing? For example, 2 levels, 2 lanes, or 3 levels, 1 lane. Or both. So I think this will be an interesting question because we're asking for this particular design or that particular design, or I guess 3 levels, 2 lane. Oh, this is going out of hand. If we do want to do that, then we require like 6 chunks of real estate to do any of the combinations or splitting or anything like that, right? But on the other hand, we can we do 3 level 3 lanes? That would be hella chaotic. Like we just pass some of those in there. It might not have to be, I guess. And also design takes time, right? Let's see. Another thing is designing a blueprint takes time. Lots time. Potentially long time. Oh, okay. Let's go for that for now. Like 2 levels, 2 lanes, or the okay. So right now I'm going for 2 level 2 lanes, but it seems like it's not very efficient because 2 design is not the best. Is an improvement over 1-1, but it's not the best because the train can support 3 levels of delivery. Because logistics talking about trains, tracks, let me think. Anything else? Any other logistics out there? So we have trains, we have tracks, we have fluids. Fluids is kind of whatever. So pipes, 3 levels even. Yeah, let's just do that. Logistics support 3 levels of delivery. And yeah, It's not wasting a level, but it can be done. It is okay. It's simpler than configuring 3-level VPs. I think those are the two main trade-offs. Let's think about this. Once I build the 3-level VPs, we already built something like a 3-level VP. Yeah, we can do something like 3-level VPs. If we have like 2 3-levels and 2 3-levels, then we have to output the other 2 3-levels. Ideally. And it can be done because we already have this shape here and also this shape. I don't know if the 3-level VPs can be kind of fed into this. So we have basically 2 of these, I guess. This is 5, so it's not gonna work. We need 6 tiles in order for 2 3-levels to come in and be sufficient. Essentially have enough space to do whatever we want. Let's wait until we unlock the final thing. But that will take time for sure. Let's take a look at the final thing here. So we do need the final foundation. We had the 2x2, but it doesn't look like it's doing much. We'll use that when we want to, but we definitely are gonna need 3x3s for the 3rd level. Okay, sounds good. That's an interesting observation. So we should strive for, I guess, a result here. Conclusion. Should still do 3 BPs. And do I want to do single lane, double lane, or triple lane? A single lane will mean I need to have basically 3 inputs. So single lane all the way to 3 lanes. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. So this will be the best because a single lane, although it occupies a little bit extra space, it's not that important. Like the space are, at least for the definitive shape, we can just abstract them as a module, and it doesn't cost too much hecticness to kind of route them. So it could be a good idea to just build all of these. I hope it doesn't take too much time, because I do remember struggling a lot on the second floor configurations, especially when we don't have a bigger space to work with. And we have to kind of formulate a kind of a constriction there. But I guess one thing I forgot to do is here. You can hop over in the platform, allowing cross delivery, wiring to cross. So that might save us some wiring shenanigans, basically. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that is a conclusion here. Let's still do that. Because BPs save time, and modular or abstract away logic, logistics. Should do more. And should still do 3-VPs, only all the way to 3 lane because sources can come from multiple flavors. Yeah. And I do have a time limit to kind of unlock the vortex delivery. I think this is going to be very important. So now I have 20. I'm 20 points short for this, and I can definitely do something like that. The vortex delivery. Meanwhile, I have to kind of resort to the basic necessities and not attempt to unlock the foundations 4 or the other things. So let's make do with the blueprint for now, for the 3 level ones. While we should do flavors, let's put a huge bracket here. Not the best idea. Don't do it now. Now until we bought the train upgrade, delivery upgrade, and the other one is the 3x3 platform upgrade. Yeah. Oops. So upgrades. Should do train delivery plus 3x3 platform. Okay, so anything else I missed? Do words more with less space and logistics is good. Means multiple levels and in parallel inputs are good. I think I might have missed something else. Reusability trains are definitely interesting, but how can I efficiently occupy every single space? So, I guess another thing is just observation here. Keep, delete, logistics to free time, free up space for new logistics, but keep the source infrastructure. Source extraction infrastructure, because they are reusable. Good idea to build and construct shape. Far away from delivery vortex, from vortex delivery. All right, let's include those as tips as well. anything else I can do. So we think about design, so sourcing, transit, necessary BP, delivery. So that's the design phase. Implementation, it should follow the MVP and then scale up. Wait for delivery to complete. Is there anything we can do here? The trick here on the design is minimize steps and waste is a good idea. Okay, let's add those in here. Upgrade should do, okay, that's upgrades. 5, design. Design. Actually, let's just do, what is this? Observation, phases, rethink. Design. So I think what I want here is remove all this. Minimize steps and waste is a good idea. And yeah, single source is a good idea. Minimize steps and waste. Single source of shape farm. Logistics. And in terms of implementation, let's MVP. First allows us to how do I call it? Oh, whoa, oh, what did I do? Oh shoot, I think I did something. Okay, MVP first allows us to wait to first avoid over engineering and save time on waiting step. Waiting phase. Yeah. For this one, there's no other choice. Try to work on the other shape. Delete logistics that are occupying space I no longer need. Yes, this is just. But keep the sources here. Oops. So that's a tip. And build and construct shape. Simplified delivery. This is gonna be on design part or implementation part? This is on the implementation part. Yeah. Okay, cool. What about train tracks? Should I delete those logistics? I think trains might be a good idea not to. Let's see, keep train logistics to some extent. To some extent. Oh, reusability. And we're gonna do this here as well. Okay, now we have 4 phases and we have the other tips. Build BPs, When do you build VPs? You should always try to build VPs. Not piping, what is it called? Spaghetti meshes, I think. Or wiring? Yeah, wiring is the word. Okay, did I capture anything else? Again, hop in the platform. Okay, use hopping in your design. And this reduces wiring. Reduce space occupation. Usage. Okay, I think that's kind of it. What about like custom, like big custom things? I know we have a few things that are like that. Like we have the, oops, isolate diagnosis, diagonals. So basically this guy, like the way that I deliver this shape is by grabbing anybody like a square over here maybe, and then isolate them from the diagonals and then feeding them into. So when you isolate diagonals, you actually double the production output. So it's pretty good. And once you do that, you can just feed it directly in there. So that's cool. But anyway, the reason I want to talk about this is once we have this complex shape, do we need other more complex stuff? Like right now we have a few, right? Components, I don't know what I have in components. I think this is just like a repeating unit for coloring that I was using a lot in the earlier times, but nowadays it's not really needed. Switching quadrants, it's just swapping the, what does this do again? I forgot. I honestly forgot what it does. Let's test this out. Like if we have something like, oh boy, okay, this is kind of messed up. All right, what does this do? I forgot what this do. Let's remove all this, and now we have 2 floors. Let's do a switch quadrant on this, like that, and let's see what it gives. Yeah, let's do a rotate. I don't know what it does. Also, this seems wrong. Because it was not delivering a homogeneous solution. Let's move this away to somewhere else, yeah? To another one that is more visible. Maybe this? Let's see. This doesn't work as I want it to be. So first off, it gets rotated counterclockwise 90 degrees, and then swaps the west with the right. And what happens after? Also, this needs 4. I don't know what this one does anymore. Let's grab the sink. And let's just look at the first floor, yeah? The thing comes in, got rotated, swapped. And they're all being fed into something else. Okay, so if you have this, I don't know what this does, man. That's so weird. Let's grab another shape. I'm so curious now. Like, what if you have something like this? Yeah, and then you have a source. Like this. And then you have like that. What does it do? What does it give? Alternating this. What? Hang on. So, okay, so second quadrant end up in the second and the fourth. And the fourth end up in the third and first. I don't know what this one does, dude. I honestly don't know what this one does. This is so complicated. And it's like scalable. It's such a kind of a good solution, I guess. So this one swaps. Essentially is my brain does not process this for some reason. Okay, let's write it down. So it rotates and swaps. So basically it, let's see. This gets rotated that way. That gets rotated that way. So the third becomes occupying the fourth. Sorry, the second quadrant end up occupying the fourth quadrant. And so does the other quadrant, right? So this swaps both of the quadrants. So oh my brain is hurting. Okay, let's see. So for the first one, you rotate it counterclockwise. So if you're... So the second quadrant and the third quadrant still stays on the left. And the third and the other two, essentially we're taking the first quadrant and third quadrant. Actually, hang on. No, they're rotating that way. So second becomes first. Third becomes second. So second becomes here. And third becomes here. And then you rotate them back. Yeah, either you rotate them back. Sorry, I'm drawing on a piece of paper. I'm just trying to understand this thing. And for the other guy, it's the other way around, right? So you have the first and fourth from the first shape occupying the first and fourth of the second shape. You still have the rotate after? You don't have the rotate after. What? And that gets fed directly into the end results for some reason. Was that the end result? I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm doing. This is so bullshit. Alright, time's up. That's the end of the episode. I'll try to figure out what this is. I'm sorry I've been like silent for a while. I just don't understand what this is talking about. I'll try to do that on my own and then come back for the next episode and see how far we can progress with some actual work. But I think we got some good, decent progress here where we listed up some strategies that we can use for this particular game so we can progress a lot faster in the later stages. I think it will get more complicated only from here because you will have pins. Well, pins we already have it, but we're not using it fully. And we have color swaps and also crystals. Yeah, it's gonna be more complicated, and we're gonna need these things to help us keep our sanity instead of like going into a realm of madness. So until next time, talk to you soon.